Well, Cindy, thank you very much, and I should explain from the start that I know nothing at all about the technical arrangements for today. They've all been in the hands of Kumas Bowling, who's the executive editor at Literature Compass. And he tells me that it's the MLA today and YouTube tomorrow, so check your ratings. Got echo? Well, if this were 1967 instead of 2007, the question would mean, have you got an echo chamber? The echo chamber was then a highly desirable, newish electronic device, a little box with a loop of tape and a push-button foot control that made your voice sound as if you were singing in the bathroom. To have echo in 1967 was indeed evidence of esteem. It meant you had resonance with your peers, especially those who, like you, wanted to be in a rock band. And still, 40 years later, to have echo, albeit of a different kind, indicates that professionally, departmentally, and on an international stage, you have resonance. One of the latest gadgets enabling you to access and manipulate specialist knowledge more effectively. And of course, similar questions reverberate in sister fields. Got EBO, got Lion, got Medimag. Though it's important not to be too knowing, too glib, if only because these abbreviations don't always resound quite as they should. In the early days of word processing in England, there was a program everyone used, named after the steam train engine that the manufacturers used as their insignia. It was meant to be a technology that would take the world by storm, but when exported to the United States, it was suddenly dead in its tracks. It was called LocoScript. No one says, got loco anymore, however much they might be feeling that way. But they do ask, got LICO? Got LICO? Now, that's a question I always like to hear pulsating down the departmental corridor or across the conference hall. What does such a question feel like to the EIC? Not, I hasten to add, an acronym for Echo Chamber in Chief, though it sometimes feels that way. The question usually heralds a discussion, one applicable not just to Literature Compass, but also to Echo, EBO, Lion, and the rest, along the lines of how is it different, what does it cost, is it easy to use? But I'm not here to make a sales pitch for LICO, Echo, LICO. Instead, I want to offer you a perspective on Literature Compass from the vantage point of the editor-in-chief that may have implications for scholarly electronic media more generally. And I'd like to give you 3 areas of points for later discussion. And I'll begin by tuning in to another echo from the 60s, Marshall McLuhan's adage that the medium is the message. Rave as I might about the excellence of LICO's content, I want to focus instead on the meaning of its form. What is this particular example of a digital medium telling us in the way in which it presents its material about the direction of scholarly resources that have gone digital? First, print fetishism is alive and well. For those, and I include myself, who remain wedded to print culture, Literature Compass acknowledges that print is where the roots of literary scholarship lie. LICO will produce elegant offprints, reference for citation in the MLA bibliography, to delight the hearts of academics and bibliophiles who hanker for material, not virtual output. Second, speed matters. From receipt of final draft, publication takes 6 to 8 weeks. Unlike in some print journals, scholarship is not already past its sell-by date by the time an article appears. Third, variety adds spice. Given the nature of the medium, publication is not limited to the journal template, but also embraces the blog, the podcast, the video stream. These are not gimmicks. They have the potential to transform the ways in which we undertake our research and represent it to others, as today demonstrates. My second batch of 3. Am I and my managing editor, Kumas Bowling, the Compass publisher, Vanessa Lafay, the rest of the team at Wiley-Blackwell, and above all, the dozen academic section editors, content with this electronic medium? Here are 3 sources of pleasure and satisfaction. Whether meeting online or at our annual editorial meetings in Oxford or here at the MLA, there is a strong sense of community, of collective creative endeavour that spans and links the somewhat different academic cultures of the UK and USA. Second, partly as a result of this esprit de corps, we're not too territorial and actively encourage fuzziness. Not fuzziness of thought, analysis and design, but at the borderlands. So the 18th century section interlocks with and overlaps with the 17th century at one end and the Victorian section at the other. Articles that cover more than one area are cross-listed, and we're also able to share material when appropriate with History Compass or Philosophy Compass. In fact, such is the frequency with which borders are transgressed that we've recently introduced an entire new division called Intersections, covering issues with implications across the entire discipline. Which leads me to my third source of contentment, flexibility. New ideas are relatively quick and easy to implement. A competition for the best graduate essay in each section, virtual journals that pull together related articles from different areas, whole new sections. Creative writing is under discussion. My final batch of points for discussion. What are the flies in the ointment, the sources of irritation and discontent? Some are the usual gripes that you'll hear from any journal editor, demands on time that are not always predictable, a spat between an editor and a contributor that needs adjudication, peer reviewers who are grumpy, cussed or dilatory, a section editor who disappears from the radar. Others are peculiar to the medium. I've got used to feeling out of my comfort zone, such as the regularity with which the site introduces new developments. At the same time, there are ways in which we are still not exploiting the possibilities of LICO. I'd like to see much, much more visual material. But these are good problems to have. The journal is dynamic, different in form and content, deeper in its archive, more powerful in its possibilities each time I log on. Each time, the echo of LICO lasts longer. Thank you.